Hello everyone, once again. This is the PVFOA Weekly Review number 5. So the first item to talk about is, again, playoffs. Now, remember that there are going to be limited games this year. I believe normally there are 6 rounds. This year there's only going to be the regional games and the state games. So there are only 4 rounds total. And of that, it just depends on how many teams in our area actually go to the playoffs anyway. So there's going to be less games than normal anyway. Of course, we try to touch on this every year. Don't be offended if you are not selected. If you are curious about why you maybe weren't selected and someone else was, then feel free to ask someone. You can ask Walter, or if you feel more comfortable asking a position chief, then you can ask them and they can ask Walter. But the big thing is, don't be offended about why you didn't get selected, and it may not have been anything that you did or didn't do. It just may be not your time and someone else's time to get selected to work a big game. Now, that all being said, we have at least 2 non-playoff games the week of April 4th, and there very well may be more added to the schedule as the week progresses. So make sure that you are available. Even if you don't get a playoff game, you may have the opportunity to work another game that week. Also, we wanted to touch on the playoff eligibility point system, which we will not be using this season, but we will be using in the fall of 2021. Now, the eligibility point system is just that. It is a minimum requirement that all officials that will be assigned playoffs must meet to become eligible to get assigned playoffs. It does not mean all officials that have met the requirement to become eligible will be assigned playoffs, but it does guarantee that all of the officials that are assigned playoffs have met the eligibility requirement, with very few exceptions on a case-by-case basis. Now, the specific point values are broken down on Arbiter under lists and forms, but really there's 5 categories that affect the officials' eligibility for playoffs, and they are all the VHSL knowledge test, attending meetings, scrimmages, junior varsity games, and varsity games. And so a combination of meeting all 5 of those categories can make an official eligible for playoffs. Again, I recommend anyone who wants more information about it to go on to Arbiter under lists and forms and specifically look up the point values for each category. Let's make sure to keep on working on the sideline management. I personally have seen some improvement, but we are still getting reports that in a few games, sideline management is not very good at all. There's still coaches and players in areas that they should not be. So keep the coaches and the players off the field and out of the way, and if you have to, don't be afraid to flag it. Remember that, especially as we close the season this week and get into playoffs, we may very well be observed by the Virginia High School League, or someone that knows someone high up in the Virginia High School League. And if it's observed that we are not managing our sidelines, that is a serious game administration issue that we are failing to do, and it has the potential to cost us playoff games at the state level for the state. So just keep on working on it. Let's get them cleaned up. Now, one piece of advice that I received that I thought was pretty good was actually the headline judge using the chains to keep teams back from the sideline. So in this graphic, you can see, let me get my pointer here, you can see in the top graphic we have the field with the chains on the sideline, and then we have the 2 yards that separates the sideline and the team box, which is the restricted area. This is the area that the officials have to work out of. So if we had the chains on the sideline or just off of the sideline, then that means the officials they don't have a whole lot of room to work with. So instead, what was recommended, and I think is a great idea, I've seen numerous officials do it, is actually to take the chains, and once they are set, the chain crew takes a few steps backwards, sometimes all the way to the dotted line, which is the team box, and that will give you 6 feet to work with. One, so that if you like to do it, you can work off of the sideline instead of being right on the sideline. And then two, if there is a play to the sideline coming right towards you, you have plenty of room to step back without fear of running into anyone. And so it serves multiple purposes, but the main point as it relates to sideline management is this is a nice visual tool that you can tell the coaches and team, hey, stay behind the chains. Now, mind you, I know there are some fields, none of our fields are equal, and in some fields, the sideline, team box, and restricted area are very limited. So I know this may not be the case at all stadiums or game sites, but just do what you can to try to get the chains off of directly behind the sideline, just to give yourself some more room and to create a visual cue for the team to stay behind. Now, this evening we do have a video clip for you all to look at, and it's one of those you make the call situations. What we're going to have is the white receiver in the slot up top is going to go out for a pass and is going to be hit from behind at about the 25, I believe, or maybe the 30, and watch the hit as it happens on the receiver and see if there's any kind of conflict there with what the rules say. Goes out, gets hit. And you can tell that the coach on the opposite sideline is not happy. We'll play it again. One more time. Watch the defender as they make that hit on the player. So the question is, do we have anything here? Is it considered targeting? Is it considered something else? As a reminder, targeting, which is Rule 222, is an act by any player who initiates contact against an opponent above the shoulders with the helmet, forearm, hand, fist, elbow, or shoulders. Now we also have what's called spearing, which is 2-20-1-C, which is an act by any player who initiates contact against an opponent at or below the shoulders with the crown of the helmet. And the crown is defined as any portion of the helmet above the face mask. So the circular dome above the top of the face mask, however you want to characterize it, that is considered the crown of the helmet. So they ran this play by a few of the people, the rules interpreters, whatever you want to call us, and the consensus was given the angle of the video, what we can see, and of course it's not the best angle by any means. And before I move on, I just want to preface this by saying we're not saying what the crew did was wrong or is wrong. I don't even know if there was a foul put down on the field or not. But we're just taking the play itself, dissecting it, and trying to see what we have here. Now, that all being said, we're on the opposite side of the field from where this play was. Again, we don't have the best angle, and when the player gets hit, it seems like we're actually screened out by another defender on the play. So it's our determination that was there targeting, which means any contact above the shoulders, we're not sure. I'm sure the official on that side had a much better look as to where the contact was initiated. We do think that there's a very high likelihood, almost a certainty, that there was a spear. So, and again, that is an act by any player who initiates contact with the crown of the helmet. I know helmet does misspelled there, but oh well. But initiated contact with the crown of the helmet at or below the shoulders. So if they initiate that contact above the shoulders with the crown of the helmet, we're going to have targeting. If it's at or below the shoulders with the crown of the helmet, it is considered spearing. And you can tell, I'll play the video one more time once I'm done with this slide, you can tell that the defender, as they are coming in, lowers their head and does contact the receiver. Now remember that a few years ago we have a new term that was added to the rule book called a defenseless player, which is 2-32-16, and that's a player who, because of their position and concentration, is especially vulnerable to injury. Now, a defenseless player is not a foul in and of itself, but a defenseless player, anytime you have a defenseless player, it is a very good opportunity for the official to scrutinize any contact on that player and make sure that it is all 100% legal. Now, examples of a defenseless player is a passer. In this case, in the video, a receiver attempting to catch a pass who has not had time to clearly become a runner. A player on the ground who's obviously given himself up, or a player obviously out of the play or not in the immediate vicinity of the runner. There's several other examples as well. So again, you know, a defenseless player is not a foul by itself, but any contact against that defenseless player should be heavily scrutinized. And with all of these, we want to make sure that when we're in doubt, it is considered a foul, because this is a safety thing. It is a maybe not this year, but it was a point of emphasis, and these are the plays that really end up on the news and that we're really trying to keep out of the game so that the game can survive. So when in doubt, it is a foul. Like I said, I think we definitely have at least spearing here, if not targeting, and if there was targeting on the field based on this video, we would support it. And here's the video one more time. You can see the defender lower his or their helmet as they're contacting the receiver. So that's it for week 5. We will have one more weekly review next week. As always, if you have any input or any thoughts on anything or seen anything, observed anything, let us know. Otherwise, good luck, stay safe, and have fun.